Oh, we're back. Tonight on the Come Up, my people, we are chatting with my friend, the amazingly talented China Bricky. China. Hey. Whoa. Hey. Hello. Hello, people of the world and the Come Up universe. It's me, Nick, and this is the Come Up. You know, every day it's something else. It's just things being tried. Today, the thing, as most of you know, is the grand jury came back with a decision on the Breonna Taylor case. And there are criminal charges for one of the officers, but it is wanton endangerment. Say, Nick, what is wanton endangerment? I am so glad that you asked. I have a definition here for you. Wanton endangerment in the first degree occurs when a defendant wantonly engages in conduct which creates a substantial danger of death or serious physical injury to another person under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life. Now, substantial danger of death. Now, I don't write laws, but to me, it seems like that means that there is a possibility of death, but that no one actually died. But in this case, someone did die, which was admitted by a lot of people. They fired one of the cops. They should have fired all of them. I don't know how two of them served jobs, but whatever. There's a $12 million settlement. That's a record-setting settlement that the city of Louisville knows that something wrong happened. And there's a lot of wrong that went down in this case. This was murder. This was at least manslaughter. This was a life that was lost. There is no question about that. Breonna Taylor is no longer on this earth because she was shot by these officers. Wanton endangerment is dragging a man out of his Uber and beating him because, I don't know, you wanted to. Wanton endangerment is dragging an entire family out of their van because you thought it was a stolen motorcycle. Wanton endangerment is shooting people in the face with pepper balls and gassing them because you want to disperse them. If you want wanton endangerment, I can take you to any urban neighborhood in this city and you can see plenty of wanton endangerment. There are plenty of people to erase for wanton endangerment on the police force, walking around feeling emboldened. There's a lot of wanton endangerment. This was not wanton endangerment. It was murder. Period. That's the tweet. Okay. So, I am very excited that my friend is here. China Bricky, we met in, I don't even know what years are anymore. We met at some point in the past doing a show called Ghost the Musical. That's right, Ghost, starring Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg. We were in it. It was great. We're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about a lot of other things because there's a lot happening in the world, and I love her. Here she is, China Bricky. Ow. Hi, friend.
I can't see what we look like because my screen is frozen. There it is. Hello. Oh my god. Ooh, my headshot looks so much better. You can put that. I'm just kidding.
You look amazing. How are you?
Thank you. That is very. I don't know. Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't know
that.
what to say. How? Yeah. I just, first of all, I loved everything you just said, and I had to look up what the wanton means, because I'm like, that sounds like, I think of wanton, like just like with like reckless. I don't know, like when I think of just like going for it, and I guess it means it's a little bit more serious. It means deliberate and unprovoked, deliberately unprovoked. That's messed up. I mean, on the one hand, it's like it doesn't describe what happened because she was murdered, but on the other hand, it's worse.
Yeah.
Unprovoked murder.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is in $15,000. Is that right? Is that what the bond is?
Yes.
For bail?
Yep. Because,
Crowdfunding will clear that up, and another. Black life didn't matter enough. So
Yeah.
doesn't yeah, I don't know.
It's
You're
just
like it's like
it's because it just keeps happening. And you're like, well, at some point we'll get it right. At some point it'll make sense. And no, we're still okay. Cool. I'm here. I'm here. I mean, because I mean that's the part that doesn't like a life is gone. That is a fact. There was a wrongful death. That is a fact. The settlement happened last week. Um, and I don't know. I just this is what's crazy about law. Like there are these crazy like little window laws that these lawyers can try to work around and be like, oh, it wasn't. I mean, they weren't. There was no intent to kill. Like, in fact, they said that they could say it was wanton endangerment because a shot was fired at them first. But I'd like to take a step even back further where they were ramming into someone's house. So I feel like that warrants some,
and like the whole like NRA's thing is built on, hey, if someone is kicking down your door, it's probably not a friend, but if you have your gun, you're ready to fight the people who are about to kill you, except when the people are the police that are coming to kill you and you are a black person.
Yeah.
Then
That's in the super fine print.
SOL.
That's at the bottom that like you don't the part they don't
Take
expect you to read.
Oh, I see now. I understand. My bad.
Uh,
Continue.
Continue. Move along.
Carry on. Very well. This is legal, but that's exactly what it is. That's the biggest problem. I mean, like, so I saw this, and I mean, like, I feel like I'm a little bit like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I feel? I mean, it came when it came, but at first I was just like, I literally had this conversation with a white person, like, oh, I'm sorry, and I swear to God, we'll get to the subject of your show soon.
This is the subject of my show. It's conversation with
show.
artists that have things to say. Huh? That's a word. That's the word. That's the word for the people.
That's the word. Okay, there we go. In case anybody was wondering, this is. But that is it. I totally lost my train of thought because I was like, what? Oh, this is how the system works. Oh, I was saying to a white friend the other day who, it felt very similar to the Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock skit with Trump, where they're like, you guys didn't see that. Okay, y'all didn't see that coming. You're shocked.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, okay, sure. How nice to be shocked. But like that was how I literally said, I'm like, and I was talking about George Floyd, but I was like, I really think this is just going to keep dragging out longer and longer and longer until enough white people are desensitized and have gone back to normal that they can just slide something like this under the rug. And you know what? This is going to pass. There isn't like, God, I remember when these things were happening and I was like, when each of these days, was upon us, when we all got the news and walking down the street and like, nothing's different.
Mm-mm.
Because the system is working. And as long as, and I've been thinking about this in applying to many different things, but like for white men, for white people, for every layer of privilege, when someone is experiencing an issue or is experiencing problems due to their lack of privilege, and they're like, we need to change things, the privilege wants us to say, okay, let's make a big fuss, and then we'll go back to normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, wait a minute. Normal, if I'm going to, it's like, it's this relationship that I just had, all the relationships that I've had. It's like, no, here's the thing. We can't go back. I'm not happy right now. I'm trying to say I'm not happy. And they're like, oh, let me get you flowers. Let me, pizza, jewelry. No, man, I bought me jewelry. But... Okay, that's a different conversation. That's not entirely true, but like I think spending $5 on some earrings doesn't.
Oh,
really
that's different.
That's
That's
different.
I mean, if you get
that's like
anybody can run the Claire's, okay? Like,
I'm just saying, you might as well have. It's on the same level of flowers. It's like less than $10. You can do it last minute, and it ends up in my hand. Different. But like when I say I'm not happy and they're like, oh, here are all these things. And now we can go back to normal, right? No. Wait a minute, you're breaking up with me? Yes, but I did the flowers, but nothing else changed. I don't
Right.
know. It's all in the same.
Yeah.
Yes,
See, but the thing is, and then we will move on to the point. The
I
thing
swear to God.
is that in this country, a lot of times we don't even get the flowers. Like they don't
No,
even give us the flowers. Like,
no, they
and
haven't
when we
until
do
like
get the flowers, they
recently.
like dirty and like ripped and stuff. Like, and we don't even want the flowers. Like,
No, no.
so it's
It's
just
all a
like,
distraction. Because the thing is, like, because this country doesn't love us. This country is not a boyfriend.
no,
This country
no,
doesn't give a fuck about us. They're mad. They're nervous because their real children are mad.
yeah,
Their real children are upset, and they're like, "I'm so sorry, honey. Just go wait and watch the TV, and I'll be back in here, and we're gonna talk about this because mommy made a mistake."
mm,
3 years later, how was the TV show you were watching? You want to go for lunch? Okay,
mm,
over. I don't know, but like that's what. Anyway, so that's the thing is like I'm not shocked. I literally told a white person a couple days ago that this is gonna happen, and they're like, "No, but everyone's been so mad." I'm like, I've been wanting to share out loud. I think I said this to you for a different reason. Like my I have a relative who I'd never met, but
mm-hmm,
he was like somewhere in that uncle cousin second thing range who was drug under a police car for 10 blocks.
mm-hmm.
Dead. Nothing happened. Nothing. Nothing. There wasn't like something in the news. There wasn't anybody that like us, It was like it happened and everyone was like, shit.
How unfortunate.
And now they're dead.
Yeah.
How unfortunate. These are things that happen. Anyway, we could talk forever about this. We're
We
hurting
could.
and
We are.
it's just but also like it's not like something that's going to get better. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being honest here on the Come Up stage. Listen, that's what this space is for.
that's
And
good
you've been,
because I'm like I don't have
yeah, we
anything
have. I
else
mean,
for you.
and we shouldn't have to. I think so often, and I talked about this with mental health in the Black community. I talked about that on the show a bit ago, and I think Black folks, other people of color, are not allowed to have emotions. We're not allowed to feel a bad day. White folks get that all the time. White folks get to sit out of class, they get to sit out of rehearsal, white folks get to call out of work, white folks like because like I'm sorry, like your cat died. Like I feel that, I hear that, that's a big part of your life. However, a 12-year-old was shot this morning for playing in the park, like, and here I am. Would you like your Starbucks now? Like it's just like this like frustrating thing where Black folks, brown folks are not allowed to show how we feel. I hope, if if nothing else comes from this moment systemically, because I don't expect that we as Black and brown people now get to feel like we have the agency to feel and to
Yeah.
express that we are upset and ask for better because we deserve it.
Yep.
So
Now
thank you.
everyone can see that this is legit.
Yes.
Now, do you believe me that I need a day off?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
And you've been in the thick of it the whole time. You are in Minneapolis. Lots
Oh, yeah.
happening there, the heart of it all. But before the world fell apart, Minneapolis was a bustling, thriving artistic community. You were booked and blessed, working all over the place, y'all. So I got to Minneapolis 2017. That's what it was because I was there for 7 months. So I got there in 2017, and
Yes.
China and I did a show, Ghost the Musical. And I'm so happy we did that show. But when I got there, China, I'm happy I did that show because I met China. Okay, I'll be clear. So I was happy I did that show with China.
Yes.
And at that point, China was like, she was closing a show at Penumbra, which is the first show I saw when I got to Minneapolis. That was the first show I saw.
I
Um,
forgot
it was
that. I always
amazing. Girl
forget, but I
Shakes
know
Loose.
that.
It was amazing. And then we were in this show together, and then I was like, she about to like, I was like, she like famous. I was like, people like know her in these streets. Like, and then she was just always working all the time. And China would be like, Nick, do you know what's going on in Chicago? And I'm like, well, here's what's happening. And I'd be like, China, here's the thing. And she's like, well, I could send a tape, but I'm actually booked. And so I'm not sure I'd be able to come home to do the show. So, what was it like for you after doing your CTC apprenticeship and like kind of like working in the community and then like growing. Like, what was that experience like? And yeah, for you in the Minneapolis Twin Cities area?
I can't lie, it was a charmed life I led. I felt crazy lucky because I've said this to you and I say it every time people ask me what it's been like, because I'm originally from Chicago, right? And what it's been like. I like after college, I thought I was gonna quit performing because pretty much, and being a Black theater student in a predominantly white institution, they, no matter what their intentions and how good they were, whether they were or not, I don't know. But the point is that they didn't know where I went. Not Black enough to be the Black girl singing a song. I can't do August Wilson, but we don't really want to see her as Cinderella. I don't know what it is, but something just doesn't. I don't see that happening.
They really didn't know what was going on.
Girl.
Listen, when I tell y'all, they told China that she was an alto, and China was like, I sang alto in college. And I was like, who are those people? I will find them. That'll make no sense. She's a soprano.
That's the same
Not all
reason
Black
why
women
I'm
are
like,
altos.
Okay. Not all Black women are altos. Not all Black women are mama bear earth mothers. Yes, I'm a bit of an earth mother, but that has nothing to do with the fact I'm Black. Just anyway, the point is getting they couldn't pigeonhole me. And so I was like, oh, there is nowhere for me to go in theater. I don't have any monologues. And they're like, why don't you have any monologues? And I'm like, you gave me Stick Fly. I liked that. But that's about the one that I know. And y'all said, I thought I was going to be, anyway, the point is I was about to quit. And I accidentally did this audition, not accidentally, but on a whim, did this audition that brought me to the children's theater, got to understudy a ton. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, the cool thing about this apprenticeship was that, it's one of the equity houses and everybody comes to see it. Everybody's kids come to see it. It's the children's theater, and it is like the best one in the country. I had never heard of Minneapolis in my life. And I moved here and I was like, holy crap. One, where are the Black people? Two, oh my God, because there are no Black people that do what I do. There are like two people who look like me. All of these jobs are mine.
Yeah.
Which was so, can I just say, the biggest thing that I have learned, the gift that this city has given me, is that I thought once I got out of college, if I hadn't done it before, I wouldn't be able to. If I can't, like they said, they're like, type. If you are not skinny and a soprano and blah, 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 you're never going to play A, B, C, D, G. I skipped some letters. The point is, for some reason, I don't know what it is about this place, but they took a chance on me in a lot of different places. I got to play Elizabeth Bennet, which I didn't even really know was a dream role. Like, I knew it was, but I guess I let it die so deeply that when it came up and I got it, I was like,
yeah.
It was because that's the thing is you let those things die. You're like, oh, I want to be, I can't be in Music Man. Who wants to be in Music Man? I did. I really wanted to be Marian the Librarian. But all of this, it was, I got to do that. I got to work at the Guthrie and like dress in the big, gorgeous, what is it? Christmas Carol, Dickensian.
Yeah.
It was,
thing.
And you got
Hoop
to do Christmas
skirt.
Carol as well.
I did do Christmas Carol. That show was a lot of fun. It's exhausting,
God,
but it's a ton of fun.
It was just, it's cheery and it's also like there's.
It wasn't exhausting for you. Excuse me. China Bricky was an equity actor in Christmas Carol. I was Bethany Central.
That's true.
So I was tired, and China was like, "Oh, we weren't in the show at the same time. I wish we were. That would be so much fun." But
we've only done the one show together, which seems not right.
We did it for so long.
We've lived many lives.
We did
that show.
It was a 1 month rehearsal.
Did that show for 4 months?
4-month run. We ran, because I moved there in May. We rehearsed May to June, and we ran June to September. Through September. Yeah. Not to September. Through September. 5 shows a week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. Yeah, 5 shows a week.
5 shows a week.
A Wednesday
5 people in
matinee.
the audience,
Wednesday matinee.
except for Wednesday matinees.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
What a
Oh
time.
Lord.
But thank you for cast and crew. What an
Thank you for cutting crew
cast and
for
crew.
the fries con truffle. Arancini balls.
Oh,
which
those
I don't know if
arancini
you- but they
balls.
look so good.
They were so good. They were so good.
They were so good.
And shout out to A. Ron behind the bar. A. Ron, we love you. We love you.
Oh my gosh.
What a
Yes,
summer.
No, it's been
But
very,
yeah,
we've been very lucky. That was
that was quite the
we
summer.
could go on about that. That might become a little bit of like
That's a whole
inside
other
joke
episode.
after
That's a
inside joke
whole.
after
That's a
inside joke. That is
whole
another
other
story.
episode.
It's a story because we can talk about that. Talk about being a person of color in theater. We could talk about that. We could
Oh,
talk about musicals that should not be done anymore. Musicals that should not have been made in the first place. I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Yeah.
How did that get onto Broadway? I don't know.
We're not sure. We're
They
not
had one
sure.
good song
Yeah.
and some gimmicks and everyone pretending that they were seeing Patrick Swayze.
But listen, I didn't do it.
We miss him. We all do.
I know I didn't do it.
Don't start. Even if I thought about, I don't even know your lyrics. You go ahead.
Oh,
What are we talking
God.
about?
So China's so amazing that she won an acting award in a season when no one was acting. But it's because I think
Very sweet.
China is one of the hardest working actor I know. Like, not just in the room, like, but also
I
like
want to know why you think that.
on the
'cause I
in
don't feel
between.
that
And
way.
oh my God, well, you'll never feel that way. And that's why you are one of the hardest work actors I know, because you're always trying to find the next level. You're always trying to find the next thing. And that's the thing that people are always missing, is that like drive to actually go and try and find the next thing. They like to, because it could have been very easy for you to be like, oh, I'm getting offers. Like, you could have sit back, but like every time we talked, it was like, okay, I have this thing. Should I do this? Is this okay? Like, I'm coming to Chicago. Who can we meet with? Like, but like the grind, like you're on the grind and you're able to, which I also say to a lot of actors, like take off the personal hat and put on the business hat, and like and wear them both at the same time, because we have to in this world of art.
Yes.
So that's why she out here winning awards when anybody acting, because it's a vocation, huh? It's what she does.
I think that's a really good point. And I will say that it meant a lot, because it feels like, because we don't have any grounding, we don't get to grasp any like land, like you get one job at the Guthrie and then maybe never again. It's like everything you do is so ephemeral. God, is that word overused for theater or what? But
the way you said it though. Ephemeral.
Like a wisp of smoke.
Ephemeral.
A dream. Fog on the water. It
wow.
comes, it
you know
graces
that
you
you
with its
absolutely
moisture.
you have to make a perfume line now. God, ephemeral.
I can't even do it. And then that's me on the Macy's window.
Oh, it's one of the moving windows. That's good. Listen, we love a multimedia experience.
Okay, sorry. Yes, oh goodness. That's what we're all about, the theater.
Yes.
Stimuli. We need spectacle.
Oh.
There it comes. Comes free. I cut my finger today.
How?
I opened a can of beans and then I turned on the water, but I didn't want to get water on it because my sink is not empty. It's a long story. The point is, I pulled my hand quickly on an open can lid, and just.
Oh, that's
so
not
I have
good.
2 Band-Aids on there. That's why it's so thick.
Oh my goodness. Well.
Also, I'm moving, so I couldn't find the actual finger Band-Aids.
Oh my goodness.
Made it work.
Well, Lot, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself.
Oh, you know. Eventually I will. But yeah, what else? So yes, it was really nice to get that award, because it was saying like, I think that is something that I want for myself. I think that my goal in theater, I mean, especially I was thinking about, like, stories to tell you, but so growing up in Chicago, I was in a very diverse, you know, I was very, being biracial. My mother is white, my father is black. I was very white, right? On the inside, kind of. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, in comparison to everyone I was around in Chicago, which was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of immigrants, a lot of everything, because it's Chicago.
Right.
And when I got to college, the first thing that I hear is my first roommate saying, "I've never spoken to a black person before," and I was like, "You've never spoke to who? To a black me? This is different. I am separate from
Mm.
you. This is a revolutionary experience. Hello, Jumbo." Like
Not Jumbo.
freaking crazy. But like, I mean, I was so confused because I hadn't even thought. I was so excited to go to school with Americans, because I've gone to high school with people from all over the world and
Mm.
felt like, kind of like boring that I like was not bilingual. And like, then this woman comes up to me and says, "Hi, hello." You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like, I just, and I think that, there was also like growing up and not being a little slender little white girl, not being all of these different things, that I was like, this makes no sense. I know that and chalk it up to my mama loves me, but
Mm-hmm.
like, that I know, like, I have a story,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like, I see myself in these movies that I watch. The whole reason you watch theater, the whole reason you read books, all of these things where we follow a protagonist, is because we see ourselves in the protagonist,
Mm-hmm.
and we can be the main character. And that was something that I battled with a lot, is like, always the best friend, which I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I remember being in Legally Blonde, another show which I will not apologize for saying should never be done again.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Not sorry. Very not sorry. Don't do it. Because there are the racial tropes in there are messed up. And I remember trying to teach myself how to say, "Oh, you go ahead, girl." I don't even know what the line was. It was something like that. That was actually too like actual vernacular. It was
Mm-hmm.
like snap in a Z formation thing, because it was the black Legally Blonde character. And I'm just like, this is not me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is not, I mean, it is more me now, because I've like kind of, become closer to other black people, realizing like that I'm not allowed there. It's so weird being
Well,
I'm
but
watching
it's,
Girlfriends too,
I
thinking
mean, that's
about
the thing, is that like
Lynn.
it's no one's, the thing is, you were in a space where likely a white person was coaching you on how to be blacker to say this word. But like the way in which I said it
And then
is black because I'm black
because
and I said it. Like that's
you see
that's
this means when I say this sentence, I said it black.
right, because I
That's
am black. That's just how that works. So, but yeah, I
so,
mean,
but it
so
was,
go for it.
yeah. No, it's just that I felt like, I didn't get to see this growing up, and and I think that's for a lot of people of color right now, is like, I want to be able to stop apologizing for myself, and I want to start with people in the audience like myself today. You are the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
You see me, you put yourself in me, and then you go and live as the center of your own freaking life, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like a battle as women, as people of color, as black women, all of these different things. And Minnesota, because there are so few people who look like me, and because we're on this upswing of like diversity and inclusion, I put quotes around it, because
Mm-hmm.
and but I've gotten opportunities that I never thought I would have, and it seems like Minneapolis is not the place for that because of the segregation. But also, I think that black people coming to Minnesota later in the travel, what is it? What do they call it? The Great Migration has affected the way that they think about race, but all of and interact with people of color, but also it's still America, and they're still like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh my God, Nick, I've been wanting to talk to you, girl." I wanted to talk to you about this podcast that I heard.
Oh, what
Have you
happened?
listened to the American Caste System? Have you
No.
heard of that book? Everybody listen to that podcast right now. Not right now, later. The Throughline podcast has interviews a woman who wrote a book about the American caste system, and she compares race to caste, and like, you know, caste in India, caste in like feudal Europe, and I don't want to give it all away. You should listen to it, but it's been something that's been helping me a lot as a mixed race person
Hmm.
about like this weird not being human. And I think a lot about how, as a performer and as someone, like whenever we play a role in a protagonist, and someone has to see themselves in our body, because
Hmm.
that's what you do, is you experience with that, like, you know, catharsis.
Hmm.
Um, I've been thinking and of this weird, like, how am I a half human? And I say this intentionally because you step into a room with a bunch of white people and you're like a different freaking animal.
Hmm.
It is so weird. And like the importance of them being able to see themselves. This is why nothing is happening with Breonna Taylor.
Hmm.
Breonna Taylor, I keep saying it wrong. Why everything is happening with Breonna Taylor is because white people think of it as like, oh my gosh, we have to save this poor, but they don't see her as a person. It doesn't matter
Hmm.
if they're on our side and at the protest. They don't, that it's weird. They'll be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this person, you don't think they're the same as you. You're going to
No.
save them. That's the whole white
Right.
savior thing.
It's
It's
a
like,
they.
I'm,
She's becomes a figure. Brianna is a figure that you can look to as, oh, if I call these senators, if I call this DA, if I call this mayor, and something happens, I have now done a good thing for that figure. It's not about increasing the safety of Black life. It's not about increasing the training and hiring social workers in police institutions. It's not about making actual change that would make my life better, because like at the root of it, you'll never truly understand what the that situation really is.
yes. And this is why I think everyone needs to listen to this podcast about the American caste system,
Hmm.
because the way that they talk about it's like it's the way that they've justified slavery throughout history is that slaves are not humans. So when they came to America, it was a little different. They're like, we're not like any of these old societies. We're a brand new society. It's just fact that Black people are not like us. We
Hmm.
are not, they are not human, and that's why they should be slaves, and that's why they created race as a alternative to caste system. Not absolutely like 100%, you know, maybe knowledgeably, because I don't freaking know who wrote those books, because they definitely made up everything they put in there.
Hmm.
But like it was a way to justify. But because of that, there is still, she talks about water, and how in India you can't you couldn't have swam in the same water as the Untouchables, because then the water was
Mm.
tainted, right? Because like you're like, oh no, we can't share water. This is you are dirty.
Yeah.
No. And it's similar to the pools, you know, segregated pools in
Yeah.
America. And when they were starting to to desegregate pools, even in the North, they would fill the pools with cement, and so they didn't have to share water with Black people.
Yep.
And I can, and if you're not a person of color, if you're not a Black person specifically, you don't hear it in every conversation, but we do. And it's like the way that people say to this day, oh my gosh, your hair is so crazy. I love it. Oh, it's just so crazy. And just like that. Or like, you know, when I'm doing a commercial shoot and they're like, the word crazy comes up so many more times than you would think, but it's like, oh my god, yeah, okay, so that's not right. That's too tight on her. Like this is hanging off a bit. But I love the hair. Just like I love this crazy thing it's doing. It's good, and it's like, and you're like foreign in our own country.
Hmm.
Sorry, it's on my mind. This headphone is driving me crazy.
Ha
What
ha!
are our topics? What else? Am I getting off topic? I have too much on my
No,
mind.
this is amazing. I mean, that's something that I'm very happy about on this show and in any space that I like hold, a rehearsal room or whatever, is that I don't want anyone to ever posture in a space. I think it's
Mhm.
inauthentic for us to walk into this conversation today without holding all of that. One, because it's happening every day, and two, because this insane ruling literally just came down. And so I'm my goal with this show is to have these conversations. I am not interested in sitting here with people and talking about making virtual plays. I'm not. I'm cool if we have that conversation. That's
Mhm.
awesome. But I think my goal is to put a face to the artist. My goal is to put the face to the people that are making these things that you say aren't important. These things that you're like, it does. The art's up. Why'd you choose that anyway? My goal is to show no, we are individuals that have jobs and know how to do things, and we're also very smart and know what's happening in this world, and are probably more in tune to the conversation because we work in making worlds, so we understand the world in a different way. We are in tune in a
Mhm.
different way. So with that in mind, what
Mhm.
what what is the artist's job right now? I've been struggling with this question myself. I don't even know. Like, who do we choose work for? And
Mhm.
and how do we present it? I mean, these are all so many different questions. And I'm not even expecting answers. You can just throw more questions at me.
We're just
That's just
gonna
where we're at, though. You know.
we're just gonna roll. I love it, and I think that you're so right, because none of this, especially not with art, none of these things happen in isolation. We put things in boxes, just to take them back out again and realize that we ruined it by putting it in a box. So I'm all about this, and like the artist's job. And I will, as someone who has been consuming a lot of Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know that art does a lot of different things. And some days you need the documentary that's going to talk about the health system
Mm-hmm.
and how messed up it is, or talk about social media and how divisive it is. Sometimes you need to watch all of Girlfriends, which I am doing and I am loving and I am enjoying, and I am also being critical of it because that's what I do. But,
Mm-hmm.
this is, we've come a long way, which is actually, um, you know, we've come a long way, and we haven't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there's no one job for the artist. I think the artist's job is always, for me, and I say that for me, um is, I feel like art is is one of the many ways, and what do we ever do but do this? We discuss what it is to be human.
Mm-hmm.
Is that we discuss, we contemplate, we experience things, that we try to cram as many experiences into one life as we can through books or stories or plays, and learn from them, or laugh at them, or feel, I don't know, soothed by them. But I think that, and it's really, people don't get how the people who do it really well and who really hit you with it, like here, it takes everything. And I've been thinking about my job as an artist and my career, that like crazy career that I have, that's just kind of gone now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say gone for sure, because we got a year after that
Retweet.
vaccine.
Retweet.
Retweet. Because where is it? What?
Yeah.
And also, how do I go back?
Yeah.
I mean, the people, especially people don't understand, like, it's not just code switching. People don't understand the number of things a day we don't say
Yeah.
in a rehearsal room.
Yeah.
They don't, and how exhausting it is. Or just in a dressing room chat, when like 13 microaggressions come out in a row, and you're like, ow, 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 ow.
And the thing is, and it's not because we don't want to. It's because
No.
it's so rapid and so quickly in succession, and we're in a space that coins itself as liberal and accepting and not racist and not whatever. So all these things, so it's like you're sitting there, and these things are like hitting you so quickly. And you're already coming in to do this show, say, I don't know, on the day that the Philando Castile verdict comes out and there's no indictment, and you have to come in and now be this angry man on a subway, and so you're already in an elevated level. So now when all these things are happening in quick succession, like that you've already set yourself up for because you know it's going to happen. You know what it's going to be like in that space. So
Mhm.
it's this like defeating process. So like, yeah, how do I go back? I love that question.
How do I exactly? But that's exactly it. Is that I mean, like, how many things can you not say? And then like every and it's just it's multiplied by the fact that now it's on the world stage and everyone's seeing it and they're looking directly at it and the same thing is happening and they still are telling us to look away. It's like my
Mm-hmm.
trust, and my mother is white, half my family is white, so many friends of mine are white, and I'm not trying to, but I'm saying because of the privilege, it gets so hard to talk about these things because people are like, but things are going to be okay. And it's like, but they never were.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is like really what it is sometimes it's just like, I am, I don't, this is, and I'll be honest, I do have depression.
Mm-hmm.
And, most, I'll be honest, most Black people do,
Mm-hmm.
even what diagnosed or not. What is it? Transgenerational trauma. Sorry about it.
Yep.
And also daily, today trauma. Um, but sometimes, like, I had, uh, I don't know. I don't want to call people out, but you don't know who these people are. I do. But like I had a family member tell me that, like, like to have hope, or that it's going to be like, when you really look at life, it's just this, it's a privilege to be alive. And sometimes that's the thing. And like, on the one hand, yes. How do you think that we get from day to day? Because if we didn't think it was a privilege to be alive, I mean, what else are we holding on to?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what else? I mean, like, okay, today I get to smell the flowers. Yeah. But
Cute.
that's not, it's like, this is what it is. This is what I wanted to say. Is that sometimes we don't want to inflict, like, the stuff that's going on. If I were to explain to you as a white person, especially being a person who is mixed race, and I say this because there is that, like, straddling of castes, which is why I need you guys to listen to this podcast. But I understand what you don't see. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
see what you're seeing because I know you, because you're my family, and because I love you. I see that your worldview, the makeup of your brain, is in this net. And I know what your inside looks like. My inside today, Philando Castillo day, every day. Like, if I opened up to you and you saw all the times that I was hurt, you would be overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
That's, and we actually talked about this in this incredible show that I was going to do right before
Yeah.
we closed. It was so good. Short version: light-skinned Black woman in an interracial relationship with a white man. They move in together only to find out that his family used to own her family in the time of slavery, and that her line comes from his great 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 grandfather raping her great 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 grandmother. How do we, with the love we have for each other, overcome what it means that not only are we related, but we are related because of rape, because of slavery? So many layers. Such
Mm-hmm.
a good show. But this was we talked about white fragility not as a, oh, don't hurt me, but as a lack of resilience because of lack of exposure. It is traumatic. It is as traumatic for them, not as, but similarly as traumatic to realize that you are, to own being the abuser,
Mm-hmm.
as when you think you're like, I'm a good person, I couldn't do that to someone, as it is to own being the abused. But we have to, every day, since day one, we had this cry decades ago. I'm only 27, but decades ago, this
Mm-hmm.
cry, this existential cry of not being human, to realize, but like, they get it all at once. Like, they lived in this world they lived in the Matrix.
Yeah.
And then we said, they're killing us every day. My life is horrible. You don't see me as a human. I have to, like, be so strong in my identity, and, like, as an actor, yes, but as a Black female actress, I need to know who I am. So like to the corner because you will take it from me, you will gaslight me, and it won't even be your fault, and I can't even be mad at you about it because you don't see it, because you don't have to, but it's your fault. But also I can't tell you about it because then you'll cry, then you'll be mad at me for making you cry, and then you won't want to cry anymore, and then you'll turn it off because you don't have to see it, but we have to see it. So there's like this whole thing that we hold in here, knowing that it's like I don't know how, if I showed you really what I'm feeling, you wouldn't get up for days,
Mm.
weeks, months. People don't see inside our homes right now when we're all sitting here not being able to go to work. And at least, I mean, on the one hand, pretending for the white people is sometimes a break from the reality that we face. It's like, oh
Oof.
yeah, great. I mean, like, and then we're like, haha, let's pretend everything is the way the white people think the world is. And then you go back home, but then sometimes you're home by yourself, and you're like, how do I go for a run
Mm.
when Ahmaud Arbery? Like, how do I sleep next to my boyfriend when Brianna? How do I drive down the highway when Sandra? How do I send my kids to the park? How do I do all of these things? The things that drum around all of our heads being in quarantine. Like, I think that maybe, and I think that this is part of why all the Trump supporters are acting up, because they're getting a taste of what it's like to have to think about the decisions you make when you go outside,
Mm-hmm.
to have to think about the streets as dangerous, to have to think about other people as wanting to hurt your children. The whole QAnon, and they're afraid of everybody being pedophiles, is this whole fear that what if, imagine, what if the whole world was out to get you and hated everything about you, that all it was is to see you and hate you? And they're like, that would be awful. I don't want that. But what they don't realize is that that is to be African American. It
That's
is to
reality.
be, that is, welcome to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not true for, I mean, for people who live in those small towns, they are, in a lot of ways, they are made fun of as well. They are told that they're stupid and deadbeats and rednecks and all of that. And yeah, but this country exists because of slavery in every single way imaginable. This country, the USA, is not the USA without the caste system that we operate on. Everything that we do, every immigrant that comes into this country has to be either pushed to the white side or the black side, because you have to be one of the two. You can't be in between. The POC thing, we're kind of, everyone's confused. It's like, you're really dark, so go over to this side, or you're really smart, you can stay with us. It's just, you're talking about the role of the artist, and I think that in theater, I know you're talking about the role of the artist, but I think that this is why I think our job could be so great. It could be so great, but we're focused in a capitalistic society on getting money. And to get money, you have to appeal to the majority. And when you appeal to the majority, the people who need help cannot support this. So it has to be, but this is what you have when you don't have government supporting the arts, is you can't say anything dissenting, because if the majority doesn't agree with you, you get squished.
Yeah.
But I think that the artist's job is to bring together, is to shed light on those corners of humanity that someone couldn't see, to shed light in ourselves, outside of ourselves. But it is about humanity. And in this pandemic, I think there are tons of people who have done, in small ways and big ways, even if it's not a whole Zoom show, but even just things like this, Nick, is like home to home, friend to friend, opening it up for people to see. That's, I mean, people don't
That's
understand
art.
why art is important. That's art. That
That's
is
art.
art. It's art.
That's art. It's the
It's
conversation.
gonna make me
It's
cry.
connecting. Ah, don't cry. Listen, what we don't do on the come
I
up is
won't.
cry. So you have to leave now. You have to go. I mean, it's already been 50 minutes. We've been talking to these people for
It
almost an hour.
has.
This is
I could talk to
amazing.
you forever.
I could talk to you forever. China, thank
I
you
love
so
you
much
very
for being
much.
here. And
Anytime,
I just,
literally anytime. What am I
I
doing?
mean, the people will see you again. I have a feeling you'll be back
Okay,
soon.
fine.
Um,
Oh, do you?
China Bricky, everyone.
Nick Whitcomb, everyone. Thank you for having me. What a pleasure.
Goodbye.
See you.
Woo! Okay, folks, that was China. Isn't she brilliant and just smart and all the amazing things? I'm super excited. I have a very exciting collaboration coming up this fall, October 7th and October 8th. I could tell you about it, but this video will tell you more, so check it out. Hey, it's me, Nick, from The Come Up.
And Dahlia Kinsey from the Body Liberation for All podcast.
Join me and Dahlia on October 7th and October 8th at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern for an incredible 2-night takeover event that is sure to be amazing.
We're going to be having awesome, crucial conversations with queer people of color. You don't want to miss it.
So keep it locked right here on The Come Up, and we'll see you soon. Boom! We did it!
We did it!
Dahlia is so great. Jamila's coming back, who's a friend of the show. We're gonna be a new friend, Ricardo, who is amazing. I just chatted with him. So yeah, come check it out. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm super excited to be doing it. So before we wrap up completely, there's so much for me to do now. My sponsors, I want to thank my sponsors. Thank you all so much for all your support of the show. You're amazing. I appreciate you, and I will always love you forever. Next week, we got Ron Simons, y'all. Ron Simons is the only Black producer to have 4 Tony Awards. And he's doing shows like Vanya, Sonia Masha, and Spike. He's got Porgy and Bess. He's got Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. He's got Ain't Too Proud. He's amazing. So come check us out here next week on The Come Up, folks. Love ya. Thanks for being here. We out.